Good morning. Now, I've got to double check that the video's going because you know what I'm like. Have you got a cup of coffee? I've got a frothy coffee, vanilla coffee. Get a cup of coffee, a cup of tea, a glass of water, squash, whatever is your poison, and join me for a chat. Yeah, as I say, it's Monday, it's nearly 10 o'clock. I'm Jean, as you know, as in Jean's Dolls. And I come for a chat with you all today. Peter's gone fishing. Yeah, it's still very hot. Oh, how are you coping? It was 27 degrees here yesterday, and that's up in what's that? That's up in the 80s somewhere. Very hot, very uncomfortable, not nice. I've got a fan here. I've turned it off because it makes noise. Yeah. So if I get too hot, I'll have to switch it back on. I have got the windows open. I should have opened the windows behind me really, then I would have got a through draft, but I haven't put that blind up yet. You haven't seen this one for a long time, have you? No, this is my little, well, I called her Evie, but it didn't suit her, so I changed it to Eva. This is my little Eva. She was on eBay for ages and all wrapped up in my cupboard because once I decide to sell a baby, I put them away and that's it. But when I unwrapped her, she's got, I don't know whether a camera will pick it up, a tiny little blue stain on her nose. Right there. Now, I've done all this, putting her in the sun and putting spot cream and everything on it. It won't shift. It's faded, but it's still there. It will not shift. Anyway, I'm not going to be able to sell her like that because... Am I? No, I'm not. No. Yeah, so I thought I'd dress her because she's been in this sleeper for ages, absolutely ages, and have a chat with you all. I've also got Lily here. I don't know if you can see her. She might just be off camera. She's here and we'll change her in a minute. So have your little jelly cat. Jelly cat, that's a jelly rabbit. So what are you all up to? As I say, you're surviving the heat, which is the main thing. Oh look, I could have just left you like that, couldn't I? You haven't got a real vest on. Never mind. Well, I wanted to chat with you about something awful that I heard last week that's to one of our members in the community. Now, I don't know whether you... It's just to be careful, really, who you speak to. I don't know whether you have heard about... No, that's totally wrong. Start again. I don't know whether you talk about your dolls to people. And if you do, you know, because people out there do not understand. For some reason, they don't understand this hobby. They always think you're some sort of nutcase if you talk about dolls. They really do. Mine are in my spare room, / dining room, whatever you'd like to call it, junk room at the moment. And that is where they stay, unless Peter's gone fishing and then they come out. Now, Peter's not horrible. He doesn't understand dolls. He doesn't like dolls. He had something happen to him a few years ago before I started collecting dolls. My husband, before he retired, he was a landscape gardener. And there was this elderly, very strange lady he used to go to. And her husband had died, well, quite a long time before. Now, when he was alive, her husband was alive, he never let her talk to anybody. And he used to, every room she went in, he locked the door after her. Very strange. And she told this to Peter. Anyway, one day, he'd finished some work in her garden. What nappy you got on? He finished some work in her garden, I think that's right, in her garden. And she said, well, you can't go without saying goodbye to the girls. Anyway, he said, no, I've got to go. No, you've got to come and say goodbye to the girls. So he went in the kitchen door taking off his boots because obviously he wouldn't traipse through somebody's house in boots. She took him into the hall, locked the kitchen door behind him, took him into the hall, locked that door behind him, took him into the lounge, the front room, locking the door behind them, and there stood, he described to me, big toddler, big girl dolls, all standing round a little table with cups and saucers and everything on it. And she said, "Now you've got to say goodbye to my girls before you go." And it scared him to death. Absolutely scared him to death. So he doesn't like dolls at all. He knows they're in the spare room. He passes them every day. And that's it. And that's as far as he goes. And, you know, some people you talk to, you've got to be careful who you talk to. I don't put anything on my Facebook page. I talk about my dolls on reborn groups. I did when I first started having them, or the only way I knew I was going to be able to get them past Peter was, oh, that's a Sarah Louise. Did I tell you? It's pretty, that one. Was to start making dolls. That was the only way I knew I was going to get a doll in the house. So that's what I did. And I used to start painting dolls, and I would put them on my Facebook page, just my page. And the criticism I got was from my brother, my youngest brother. He was awful. And then a few more people started commenting, joining in. And yeah, no, I don't put any dolls on there. Anyway, I've gone right past track. The awful thing I heard happen this week was one of our members bought something off of eBay. A baby item off of eBay. And she started chatting to the ladies selling the baby item, not thinking anything of it. Said, it's for a doll, not a baby. You know, actually it's for a doll. And that was that. And then a while later, this lady's husband started messaging her, saying what a nutter she was. And all kinds of swearing and abuse. And then it ended up with him saying, "I know where you live," because they've got all the details now. And now eBay's changed the way they work. They have all your details. And she had to get the police involved, and eBay had to block him and get the police involved. And it's really scary. So you know, please be careful who you speak to, because people don't understand. They really don't. Anyway, look at this puppet. She is lovely. She is. Blue nose. Yeah. Of course, she's the Ava Sculpt by Cassie Brace. And she's going to go and sit over. Can you sit there? You sit up there. Yeah, there's a big girl. Play with your bunny. That's it. Oh, goodness me, I nearly dropped her. Did you see that? What a horrible mummy. Yeah. What have you been doing? Do you know, I've been locking. I can't talk today. Must have got somebody else's teeth in. Oh, money. I've been watching YouTube. Doing lots of London tours on YouTube. How interesting. My goodness, they're interesting. Lots of all different places. This morning, let me have a bit of my coffee. I didn't do London this morning. I did Laycock Village. Now, that is the most filmed village in the UK. For Downton Abbey, Harry Potter, Pride and Prejudice, all things like that, all period dramas. And it's really, really pretty, this little village. I don't think it's a town. No, it's a village. Yeah. So anyway, tours of London I've been doing. Now, tours of London have to include Jack the Ripper, don't they? We all have this fascination. I don't know if it's a fascination or interest, I should say, with Jack the Ripper. Mind you, any Victorian crimes I will watch. Oh, there we are. There's the bronze one. That's easier to do, isn't it? But Victorian England was an awful place. I suppose it was everywhere. And London, well, you had the West End that was very affluent, and then you got the East End that were very poor, and it was so, much difference in them. When they was redoing the West End, they were rebuilding it. They knocked down a lot of the slum houses, pushing people into the East End. So East End was overpopulated tremendously, and poor women went through, it was such a hard time. Men wasn't so hard. They could sometimes pick up work. They used to queue for 15 hours of work. They used to work for 15 hours a day on the docks. They had slaughterhouses, tanneries, and things like that, and they could get work. But the ladies, unless they picked up a bit of cleaning, or a bit, if they were good at needlework and things like that, I wouldn't have had a hope, would I? And if their husbands died, or because it was hard work, or if people died young then, they got tuberculosis and all sorts of things. If their husbands died young, they had no hope of surviving, these ladies. They would sell everything they owned, apart from what they were standing up in. And they used to have nowhere to stay. They used to rent a bed for a night. Now, to rent a bed for a night, it would be in a room full of other people. You wouldn't get a room to yourself, unless you was very, very lucky. And that cost 4p for a bed for the night. And when they had nothing, they had to sell themselves, because they had nothing else. Now I've got these lovely, look at these. What colour are we going to wear today? Look at them. How lovely are they? Should we go in pink? Yeah? Should we go for pink? What do you reckon? That's nice and bright, isn't it? Perhaps we go for that one. Yeah, so they had nothing else apart from themselves to sell. And there was, I can't remember figures in my head, something like 1,400 prostitutes at that time in London. Now you think there was no NHS, there was no social security. They had the workhouse or selling themselves, and that was it. The workhouse was awful, terrible place, because they thought you deserved. They wouldn't make your life easy to go in there. They thought, you bought it on yourself. So, yeah. Anyway, this is my little poppet, my little Lily. Yeah, I was saying Jack the Ripper. Well, there's 5 that we all know about, but there's another 4, well, at least 2 that they think was his as well, that he killed, but there's 4 altogether that they don't know whether they were his or not. So we just thank the Lord really, that you know, you weren't born in that time. I, yeah, YouTube, very, very interesting. Very interesting. Dee. Apart from that, that's a bit big on you, that one, isn't it? What size is it? Is that saying naught? No, that's a size 1 in Pampers. Let's try these ones. I don't know what's, this is a 1, but it's, I don't know what make it is. I think it's a 1. Yeah, size 1. Well, I had a lovely, excuse me, she's a little girl. I had a lovely birthday in the end. I really thought that I was going to be forgotten about this year because nobody had mentioned it. None of my family. My girls usually say to me, oh yeah, it's your birthday next week, Mum, and things like that. And I wasn't going to say anything because, you know, they got their own lives to lead. And as I say, I hadn't spoken to my stepdaughter for a little while. But my youngest phoned me on her way to work that morning. Or messaged me on her way to work that morning. It was 6:30. And my other daughter, the one that's just moved, I thought she was going to, you know, there was nothing she was going to give. There was no way she was going to remember. Oh, they're lovely, Chris. Chris sent me these. They fit her nice. Yeah, so she had loads to do, so I wasn't going to say anything to her. And she sent me a lovely cake. And then, after I spoke to you that day, spoke to you all, knock on the door, I looked out the window, and it was a florist man, and he said, flowers for Mum, happy birthday, and left me some gorgeous flowers. I'll show you, but it's been so hot, they haven't lasted. They haven't lasted. But they were absolutely beautiful. And they were from my stepdaughter. So that was lovely as well. Somebody outside. Yeah, so they were from my stepdaughter. So that was really nice. And she messaged me. She said we would have come up. She said, but they were away for the weekend. And, what did that brush on? Yeah. So she's coming up next Thursday, or this Thursday rather. And she's bringing us fish and chips, which will be lovely. Peter's still not having anybody in because of COVID. So we will sit in the garden because it's going to be lovely weather still. We will sit in the garden and have something to eat. Here we go, Pop it. It's a little bit big for you, isn't it? There we are. Here we are. So how are you doing with your coffee? Finished your coffee yet? I'm very slow. Oh. Yeah, so when we get my shed built, when it's finished, I think my dolls are going out there. Quite honestly, I think Peter's putting me out there. I might have one in at a time, you know. But I wonder what it might have been a postman put something in my box outside. My parcels go in the box because they, you know. I'm not expecting anything, am I? Have I bought anything? Lily, have I bought anything? No, she don't know. I sometimes buy things and I've forgotten I've bought them. Well, I'm trying to be good and not spend any money. Doesn't work, does it? Oh. Right, so I think I've bored you enough, haven't I? Look at this lovely. Isn't that gorgeous? Those little flamingos all over it. Yeah, I think that is all I've got to say today. Be careful. Think twice before you tell anybody about your hobby. I know it's not fair and you like to share your hobby, but you have to think what you're doing, you know. You've got to be careful in this day and age. There's some creeps out there and they think we're the mental ones. Have fun. Stay safe. And I'll speak to you, I don't know when. I'm going to watch some more YouTube. Oh, I'll show you my knitting, my new knitting. Now, this caused me a few problems. Hang on, let me get up. Oh, I'll get it for you. I thought I knit a baby blanket. Look at that. It's this bobbly wool. A lovely colour. So I won't pay full price for anything. That's eBay buy this wool. I've got 2 big balls of it. And it's going to make a nice baby blanket, I think, for the crib. Oh, I'll go and do some knitting. And there she is. You know this is very shiny. This is very shiny. Let's put a little bit of powder on that later. Right. I'm going to go. I'll speak to you soon. 22, ooh, getting on for 23 minutes. I'm going to go and finish my coffee. And that's my one of my read fuses that Carol sent me. Chris sent me. Carol? Who's Carol? I don't know any Carols apart from me. That's my middle name. Yeah, Chris sent me that. Oh. Smells absolutely lovely. Speak soon. Stay safe. Bye-bye.